this is Alan Riney, Deputy Director of the State Fire Marshal. We're continuing our Coffee with the Chief program. Today we are in Peru, Illinois, talking to Chief Jeff King about him and his department and the city, and we'll see where it goes. How are you today?
Doing great, thanks. Thanks for coming up.
Good. So I always start with, tell me a little bit about yourself, how you got into the fire service, what was that journey like?
I started. I grew up in the firehouse. My dad, my grandpa, they were all firefighters. When I could walk, I was in the fire station, and as soon as I turned 18, I could get on the volunteer department where we were at. So I did. I got on Morrison Fire Department. I started there in 1985, and stayed in the area for a while till I used to have a fire equipment business, and it moved me out of Morrison. And I moved to Morris, and so I was out of the fire service for approximately 2 years, and then I moved back here to Peru to be in the middle of where I was at for my business. And a friend of mine said, "Hey, they got POCs here on this department. We'd really like to use you. You got a lot of background." So I came here, applied, and that was in 2000. So I've been here since 2000. Worked up through the ranks. From lieutenant. 2009, I was appointed full-time fire chief. First one the city's had.
Okay.
They haven't had one here yet, so that was under Mayor Scott Harrell. He appointed me to full-time fire chief. So I've been in that role ever since. Here in Peru, they do some things a little different for synergy purposes. I'm also the public works superintendent, so I have two hats. Two hats I wear, and I keep very busy. Both of them keep me very busy.
Yeah, I imagine.
We used to run anywhere between 500 and 600 calls a year. Last year we just about hit 1,000.
Yep.
And so
it seems to be the trend. Everybody I talk to just talks about how their call volume is, and that's amazing. So you're saying it's almost doubled.
Almost doubled.
Yeah.
And the City Peru Fire Department, we have 4 full-time, and we call them engineers,
Okay.
1 per shift, and then I have 18 paid on call plus myself, which I'll make up the second person during the day usually if we have anything. But I'm a working chief. I'm not a administrative chief, unfortunately. But
it's always good to still get out there.
Oh yeah,
you don't want to push too many papers.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I enjoy it. But it's a great department. I got a staff of great firefighters.
Yeah.
We have 3 women firefighters now. I mean, that was a first for us because not because we didn't want it, but it just never really happened.
Yeah.
And now we have 3, which are doing outstanding. We put in for several grants that I put in for the building grant that you guys are doing. I got a grant in for that. We have one in for the Safer grant because I want to put another full-time per shift on.
Okay.
We don't run an ambulance out of this house. We don't have. We chase it. So on critical call, we chase, and that's what kind of has increased our call volume.
So it's private EMS in the area?
Yeah, it's private EMS. It's Peru Volunteer Ambulance Service, but it's its own business.
Okay. So what kind of equipment do you have here? I saw aerial ladder, pumper, brush truck.
We have 2 engines. I have a heavy rescue. I'm very fortunate that I have a tower, 100-foot tower, and I also have a 100-foot quint. So the reason I went with the quint on the last one, because we were going to replace an engine, but I thought with our setbacks here in town, it'd be nice to be able to have a quint to where when I pull up, I can get to the roof safely without having to throw a ladder with less amount of people.
Right.
So I have a great mayor and city council. They went right on with me, said, "Do what you got to do, chief." And so we got a quint. We have a tender. We have a special operations trailer, which we run our drone equipment out of. We have a little brush rig, Polaris brush rigging. Say that 3 times.
Yeah.
In that.
I got hung up on a word in public the other day. I didn't want to talk about it. I get it.
Yeah. Then our reserve engine we keep at the school so they can train with it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So they have our 3rd reserve engine over there.
Yeah.
They train on it. Everything's stabbed. I keep it up. I keep the pumps up there.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
hose and everything. But they train with that.
Do you run? How much of the river do you have?
We have approximately 5 miles.
Okay.
But we also have a group. It's called the Peru River Rescue.
Okay.
And they have the boats. They do all that stuff on there. We are putting together a dive team. We're
Yeah.
going to be part
You
of
said
it.
something about the drones. That's what made me wonder
Yeah.
if that was
We're in the
the-
process of putting together a dive team. So we're going to aid the Swift Rescue Mavis Division 25. So we're just in the infancy of that. You know, we used to have a dive team, and then I couldn't get anybody to train, so I
sure.
disbanded it. But now I got you know how it flips in the fire service. You start getting all the
Yeah,
younger
yeah,
guys.
yeah. Yep.
They're all, hey, we want to do this. And hey, I'll
Yeah.
support it if you're going to train.
Sure.
So we do. So we're doing that. We also have an airport truck, an ARF truck, and
Okay.
that's kept up at the airport. We have a large, very large air show that happens here in May
Oh, okay.
16th and 17th. It's called the TBM reunion, but there are 25 flying TBMs from World War II. We're going to have 21 here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's huge. I look for, you know,
Yeah.
I never realized it until I got on the committee and I go to all that stuff, just how rare that is.
Why is Peru on the map? Why is it
A lot of it had to do with the river, because we got the Illinois River that runs right through the bottom of our city. And back in the old days, I mean, they used to harvest ice, bring ice up into the caves, store beer in there.
Nice.
A lot of it's always been a industrial type city, and we have a lot of industry in the city. We have a lot of big plants up north, big plant down the river. We got a chemical plant on the river, so we have a lot of we're industrial based. And it's the shopping hub for this area. I mean, we have a lot of big stores in this area, so it plays a role to where our normal population is around 9,800, and during the day we're pushing 16,000.
So yeah, it increases a lot. That's a big challenge for departments across the state. You know, I always kind of thought about like just even university departments where, you know, you have a population of even 50 or 60,000, but then you bring in 20,000 people for 9 months out of the year, and
Yep.
it's like how do you staff for that? How do you
It's tough.
It's a big challenge.
You look at our neighboring department, Utica. They have Starved Rock State Park.
Yeah.
And that's seeing
Perfect example.
millions of visitors a
Yeah,
year.
perfect example.
And you know their call volume was crazy in the summertime, and they're a volunteer department.
Sure. Yeah.
And we do a lot of auto aid between us and LaSalle. We any structure fire, we're auto aiding right away, and that's just purely to cover your manpower.
Sure.
Because you know, obviously, like with every fire department, during the day you don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
You know, I know I have my deputy chief, which is a retired person, and but as far as people, they're just not getting off work like they used to be able to, or they're working out of town.
Yeah. And do you find that a challenge? I believe you said you had 18 paid on call. Has that gone up? Has that gone down? Has that been about your?
About the same.
Okay.
I mean, we've been up maybe a little bit, but I mean, anymore it's hard. You know, it's hard for say a 30-year-old to come be a POC only because they have a family that's established.
Yep.
With all the new regulations on training. You know, trying to keep what I have.
Right.
You know, trained, and make sure that they're getting all their training documented.
What kind of challenges do you see? Like things that looking into the future. What do you see that's the challenge for the Peru Fire Department?
The challenges I see are definitely manpower. It's having adequately trained manpower and making sure that if we continue to be a combination department, allowing our people to train.
Yeah.
With them having jobs like we talked about earlier, having jobs, having careers, having children, it's hard to keep up all that training.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a big struggle in the fire service. I think it's going to force us to go more full time than it is POC, only because we can do it on shift.
Yeah,
know?
yeah. You have I always said it is way easier when you have their attention for 24 hours.
Yeah,
yeah.
So they can, part of their day job is just training, getting it done.
Then it's just managing the schedule and making sure that somebody doesn't miss something because they're on vacation or something.
Absolutely, and recruiting, getting people interested in being in the fire service.
Right.
The younger generation is the tablet generation, I call them. Their entire lives it seems like they've either been on a tablet or their phone. And coming into the fire service, that's not the way it operates.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're coming in, you have a job to do this. How are you going to do it? It's not sitting here doing this all day long. And that's not only here, but when I manage public works and we have 30 high school kids come in for the summer.
Yeah.
You know, it ends up being a,
Yeah. When
you know,
and it is funny because I use this analogy a lot is, you don't have the people that come into the fire service anymore that maybe knows how to use a chainsaw. So it is incumbent upon us to teach them, to show them, to make sure that they're proficient at that. I know, a department like New York, there's a large percentage of their people they hire that don't have driver's licenses.
wow.
If you think about it, you grow up
Well,
in
yeah,
the
living
city,
in the city,
you take a subway or a taxi everywhere. So I think that's it's a fair analogy. It does seem to be getting worse. I know we interviewed JC interviewed Chief Dade a few weeks ago, and one of his statements was really funny. He said, when he entered the academy, he said he was working with 50 MacGyvers that knew how to build to build something out of dental floss. And I can't even remember what example he used.
Well,
Go back and watch the tape. It's pretty funny, but he was exactly right.
Yeah.
It can be overwhelming. And I think that the programs that help that are the high school apprentice programs where they can,
they get their hands on it. They understand especially if that's something you want to do or you want to go down that road. But a lot of places too, like in the farm communities, you had the farm kids come in. They knew how to do it,
right?
Because they've been doing it since.
It's just second nature.
Yeah.
Yep. So you've been around for a long time,
40
and
years. This is my 40th year.
Yeah, 40 years is a long time to do anything in a row. So, there must be a reason. I always say it's the greatest job in the world, and what's kept you interested all these years?
I think it's helping people. We're always there when they need us.
Yep.
So that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Working with the people, helping the people.
Well, hey, thank you for
Absolutely.
your time. I really do appreciate it.
No
We're
ice
trying
storm today, so we're good.
What's that?
No ice storm today.
No ice storm today. Yeah, this is funny, but this is our third attempt at a meeting. The first time I come up with the flu, I assumed you didn't want the flu to run through your department, so I stayed home. And then the second scheduled date we had was an ice storm. Today it's lovely out. It's a little windy, but I'll take it over that cold that we've had. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate learning about your department. It's a lot of fun. It's a beautiful community. If you haven't been here, people should check it out. Just in good coffee down the street. I don't even know the name of the place, but they were very nice. Yeah. And it was a very long line to get. I think I was in line. I think I was in line for about 15 minutes to get my coffee.
It's a newer coffee.
Well worth it, place. And they couldn't have been nicer. So yeah. But no, I appreciate your time, and thanks for everything.
Absolutely, thank you for coming up, and I enjoyed it.
Yep.
Anytime you can.
Okay.